Guys. Okay, so today for this demo video, we are going to go over how to start the Elements of Art accordion booklet. So this is the same thing that we went over today in Google Classroom, in case you missed it. So what you want to do first is find, and I'm just going to show you the first few steps in this video, and then our next class I will post another video kind of going with the steps as we move through the class. So what you want to do right now is find, if you have it, find a pair of scissors and a ruler and some white paper and something to write with, okay? You do not have to have these to do this project, so if you don't have them, don't worry about it. But if you do, it will make it a little easier. Okay, next, you want to find, oh, I'm so sorry, and you need glue. Any kind of glue is fine. Whatever you can find in your house would be just fine. Okay, now, as far as your paper goes, what I want you to try and find in your house is some drawing paper. So if you have drawing paper, please use it. The thicker the paper, the better. So cardstock is great because it's nice and sturdy. Drawing paper, just as good, still pretty sturdy and thick. Watercolor paper is great. I used that for an earlier demo, and it is pretty strong. So you get the idea. You need some blank white paper. The thicker the paper, the better. If you do not have drawing paper, what I want you to look around your house for is either like blank computer paper. So just if you have a printer at home, you probably have computer paper. So you can look around for that. And maybe you don't have any that are blank, but if you have any scrap paper, like I found this that I was using today, something that I printed on, I don't need it anymore. So I'm going to use one of these sheets of paper because the back side is blank and white. So see if you can find that. If that is still not an option and you don't have any, then see if you've got some notebook paper. Alrighty. It can be, and this paper can be from a sketchbook and maybe you tear it out, or if you find some notebook paper that's in like a spiral notebook, you can tear that out too. Just find a nice good sheet of blank paper, or if you don't have any, lined paper. Okay, now our first step is going to be to take your paper here. I'm going to switch my camera so that you can see my hands, and I'm going to show you the first few steps. So let's get started. Okay, guys, so this is our paper. Now, what I want you to do first is we're going to fold this paper in half. Actually, what you can do, if this is for people who do have a ruler. If you have a ruler, this is method number 1. You can measure the short side of your paper and find the middle. So my paper is 9 inches long. That means the middle of my paper is about 1 1/4. I'm just going to put a little mark right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing at the top of my paper on the short side. It's 9 inches. So I'm going to put a mark at 1 1/4. I messed that up just a little bit. There we go. So once you've got your marks, here and here, what you can do is draw a line all the way down your paper, okay? That can help you find the middle. Now, let's say for my people that do not have a ruler, what you can do is take your paper and fold it in half. And you want to make sure that you line up this edge to the other edge of your paper so that it's nice and even. Kind of like that. Then you're going to fold and make a pretty good crease. My trick is that I always take a pen and run that pen all the way down the crease on my paper. And it just makes it way more pressed down. Okay, from here, this is where we are right now. You should have a very tall looking book. What you want to do is cut this in half. So if you've got scissors, you can take your scissors and you can start to cut down this line or this crease all the way, okay? So that you have 2 strips of paper. But instead of demoing how to use scissors, I'm going to show you guys what to do if you don't have any scissors, okay? So my best method, and I went through all of college without owning scissors, and this worked swimmingly. So what you can do is see how the book, we folded it this way the first time. Flip it over and fold along that exact same crease, but backwards, so the other direction. And then do the same thing. Kind of take your pen and run it down. Make that nice and flat. Now, this is a trick. This is probably the most important step of the trick. So we've got our crease here. You can either put a little bit of spit on your fingers, or you can dip your fingers in a glass of water, and then you're going to run it down along the spine. So, let me get my hands in a little bit of water and run that down along that crease. Now, once you've done that, you're going to kind of fold it along that crease a couple more times just to get it nice and strong. And then when you're done with that, it should look like this. And you're going to put your hands here. Now I'm going to push up, see how the back is kind of standing up? And I'm going to pull apart from right here. And it should tear apart perfectly like you were cutting butter. Pretty easy. All right, so now we're going to switch back to my other camera so that you guys can see how to fold our sheets of paper. And we are well on our way to making our accordion booklet. All righty, hi. So we've got our 2 strips of paper. So once you've got these, and remember, if you're working with notebook paper, it's going to look the exact same way. You'll have 2 strips of paper, just notebook style. So what you're going to do, take your 2 strips of paper and you're going to fold them in half this way, okay? So hamburger style. Hot dog style would be like this, but we want to fold it like this. So I'm going to go ahead and fold. And when you're folding these, because you want to fold it in the middle, you want to make sure that the edges are aligned with each other, okay? So I'm going to fold that, or they're even with each other. And then just push down and fold that. And then we're going to go to the other one, do the exact same thing. So I'm going to fold it in half, line it up, and then crease it. Okay? Now, just like we did when we creased the first time, the long way down, kind of run your pencil along that crease to flatten it out. So when you're finished, it should look like you've got two little tents to camp in. So once you have your two little tents made, I'm gonna set my tents right here. Now, once we're done with that, you're gonna take one of them to start with. I'll take this one. And you've got your tent just like this. You're gonna take the bottom of our tent, so these two edges, and you're going to fold it up just like that so that the bottom edge is matched and level with the top edge of our tent, okay? So, and you're going to do that with both sides. So you're basically taking the bottom edges of the tent and folding them upwards. So start with one side. There we go. Okay, so you'll fold this up, line it up with the top of the tent, and then make a crease. Just like this. So this is what your paper should look like right now. You got one long end of your tent still, and then the other end of your tent is folded upwards, okay? Now from here, what you want to do is take the other side of your tent and do the exact same thing as we did with this side. So you're going to take the bottom, line it up with the top of your tent, and we're going to just fold that together. So what it should look like in the end, if you looked at the edge, it's going to look like a W, okay? Or if you're holding it like this, it'll look like an M. If you're holding it from the top, it's going to look like that. And the bottom, it's going to look like that. Okay? Now, once you've done that, you want to do that with the other tent. So, I'm going to do the same thing. Fold the bottom up to the top of the tent, line it up, and then crease it. This time I'm going to put it on the table because it's much easier. So I kind of pushed it down right here to make that second fold. So now take this bottom part of your tent, bring it up to the top of the tent, line it up, same thing, and you can see this side is the already folded side, this side is the non-folded side. So we're going to go ahead and push that down. Now, same thing, I like to run my pen or pencil along that crease to really make it nice and crisp. So you should be left with two papers that look like W's or M's, however you're holding it. So from here, what we want to achieve is this. We want to glue both of these two sheets of paper together so that they make one long accordion book. All right? So how do we do that? Well, the best way is to glue them together. So see if you can find some glue in your house. Glue stick probably work the best, but if it's more liquid glue, you can probably use that too. And if you don't have any glue, then your next best option is going to be tape. So look around your house for some tape. And last but not least, if you cannot find any tape, you can try to staple them together. Now, if you don't have any of those, no glue, no tape, no staples, then what I suggest is just leaving them separated for a bit, okay? And we'll talk about that in just a second. But let's go on with gluing them together. So what you want to do is hold one upright like it's shaped like an M, and then another one flipped over so that it's shaped like a W. And then, try to find the best angle. Okay, you're going to take the side of the M right here, and you're going to take this side of my W. So if I put my M and my W together, these two sheets of paper are going to touch. So I can kind of fold my camera down here. You can kind of see one's a W, or one's the W, one's the M. But you see this side of the paper and this side of the paper are going to get glued together. So what I'm going to do is separate them. And I'm going to lay this guy down. We're going to stick some glue along here. And since my glue sticks are not the best brand of all time, I like to put glue on both sides, just for extra reassurance. All right, so back to my M and my W. So now I've got glue here and I've got glue here. We're going to bring those two sides together and stick them together. And I kind of like to push them all down so that we make sure that glue really sticks. And now you have a finished accordion book. You can see that I have made several today. All right. So, back to if you don't have, a stapler, you don't have glue, you don't have tape. What I would like for you guys to do is put a mark where those two were supposed to be glued together. So have your M, have your W, find the two sides where they push together, and then put an X or some sort of mark there. So we know that these are eventually going to be stuck together once you guys get your supplies. So as long as you've got that there, then when you're drawing, you know that, oh, okay, these are the two sides that are supposed to be stuck together, and you know not to draw there, okay? And that is it for our demo for our accordion booklet. The next demo is going to demonstrate how to choose an object and start drawing that object on each of your 7 rectangular panels, okay? So I will see you in the next video.